Hello, friends and family, and welcome back to this week's episode of Family to Family Workshop. I am grateful that you take your time out to come on in and soak up some of this information that we be giving to you guys. I'm so glad that you come in and actually check out the guests that we bring in because they're right from your neighborhoods. They people you may come across all day, every day. You see and never knew, okay, what do they do or how do they do it in your neighborhood? Like each one teach one. So I take this platform as one of those. And today we have Ronieka Burns. She's someone who's dear and near to our community. She has her hands and feet in a lot of things in the community. She's gonna dive in a little bit and let you guys know exactly about a few things that she's got going on right now in the community. But before we do that, I'm gonna pay some bills. And we would like to thank St. Mark, St. John for allowing us to have this space to actually share this platform to bring this information to you. We would like to thank Rush Limited LLC for making us look great on the camera and doing his great job every week with the podcast, making sure the light shines on us in the correct ways. We would like to thank Freedom Scholars Learning Inc. because without them, this wouldn't be possible. We would like to thank God because without him, this wouldn't be possible. We would like to thank our friends and family that's watching us tonight. Come on in, tune in, like, share, subscribe. And first and foremost, we would like to thank our friends and family in the Beechwood neighborhoods. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Ms. Ronieka Burns, and she's going to tell you about one of the things that I'm going to ask her about is Beautifully Made You. Is something that I've always wanted to know a little more about. I thought it was like really unique. What I know about it is that she do family portraits for free. And before I dive in, because I couldn't tell you, I got the expert. She can tell you more about what it is that she do for her community. So thank you guys, and I'm going to introduce Ms. Burns.
Hello everybody, and thank you so much for having me.
Thanks again for coming. I don't mean to cut her off, but like I said, she's been having this thing, what is it, since 2017?
Yep, 2017. It started off as Beautifully Made. Beautifully Made is a nonprofit that focuses on mothers and daughters in the community. And then in 2017, we created You Are Beautifully Made to have a for-profit to be able to have merchandise. Therefore, it could support You Are Beautifully Made and Beautifully Made. Gotcha. So it's a funding source to make sure that people in the community could take advantage for free.
So I said I looked into this program because I thought it was pretty neat that they did, and they didn't do no like little like self-portraits. They was giving you like big life-size like portraits of you and your family for free. And so that's when I looked into it. So when I reached out to her to talk to more about it, when she told me the story behind the reasons for starting it, I have to let her give it to you. So please tell them, like it's so insightful and like it's like it was heartfelt. So I'm not going to take her story. I'm going to let her tell it.
All right. So Beautifully Made was started in 2017 because of my daughter. Because of the trials and tribulations of a single mother.
Okay.
You know, at the early age, teenage age, my daughter started acting out, right? Showing out as people
teenagers
in the neighborhood say, you know, smelling themselves.
Yes.
But it came to the point where it was a little extreme. It came to the point where it was really obsessive, right? And then as you were, you know, paying attention and, you know, you asking people around you, what do they think? And they just saying, just give it a little time. It was escalating. And then come to find out a few years later, and I'll say a few years, and we're gonna go back to that. It took a few years because of the systems, you know, not being able to navigate the systems. So typically when a child start acting up, they are in special education, they got an IEP, 504 plans, things of that nature.
Typically, like she said, typically.
That wasn't the case for my daughter, straight A.
Look at that.
Straight A students.
Now back to the systems.
Yes.
That wasn't the case for her daughter, but in order to get some help, you got to make a case for her.
Yeah, then turn around, oh, I can't get services because I don't get Medicaid. I started working at Strong when I was 18 years old. So I got health insurance through my job. So I didn't qualify for the system that you need in order for you to get interventions.
Wow.
So in order for you to get those things, you got to have referrals. You got to go through a different network. You got to make sure that your insurance covered mental health. So this is where we get to the mental health part. The main reason because my daughter was diagnosed with mental illnesses. And it wasn't nothing that I knew anything about. First of all, I was a teenage mother.
Listen, it's nothing we as a people still don't know nothing about because I'm about to cut her off again and ask her, so when they finally came up with that diagnosis for your daughter, what was it, certain type of testing or did like, so she went through like a process for them to say that she had mental illnesses?
Yeah, but it took 2 years. So 2 years of acting out, running her
turmoil.
to the point where she was running away. And to the point where we couldn't get any interventions or any services. And I remember, I'll never forget, sitting on the floor in my living room and crying because my daughter had ran away. And I'm calling the police. The police came, did a report. You know, teenage runaways don't really get the attention that people think.
They think,
she ran away.
she'll come back.
So it's not,
that's the average thing.
That's the
you know,
average.
but that's what's sad about it. Just stop it. You know, we have to stop saying, oh, they're just teenagers. Oh, they'll come back. Because we have to help the hurt. Because, you know, like if we're saying that, we're not helping the problem. We're letting the problem grow, you know? Okay, yes.
So then I end up calling Bev Jackson, who I got to give kudos to Bev Jackson.
Let's give kudos.
Yes, kudos. She was running Pathways to Peace. I'm talking about one of the way back when Pathways to Peace first started. And she told me how to navigate the system. And if it wasn't for me calling her, I wouldn't even know what to do in the system because my daughter wasn't committing crimes.
She's a straight A student.
Right, and so it was a difficult situation. So after that, at that moment, I knew right in and there that I was gonna provide a space for mothers to have somebody to talk to, somebody to call, somebody to look for, to even pick up the phone to be able to ask questions, you know.
And
so that's
so
how that
detrimental.
was created.
People don't understand how detrimental it is for a single mother to be able to pick up the phone and call somebody just to the vent or just to ask to come over to lend a hand. Being a single mother is a hard job. I think that's the hardest job in America.
Who you telling?
It's serious, you know, just coming from being a single mom, you know, and just thank God, you know, one graduated, one didn't, but you know, like, you know, I take it all with the grain, and I'm like, you know, it's hard. That's the number one job. Listen, my daughter got 3.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't know it was that hard because my kids aren't stair steppers. So again, and back to what we were saying, like, oh, you know, because how they raising them her kids and let them raise them kids. No, we got to start building better relationships.
Ooh, talk about relationships.
Yes.
So when those mental health issues started coming up, if our relationship was better, then when mental health drops out of the sky, mental health illnesses drop out of the sky, you could fall back on your relationship because you would know each other.
Come on.
You could dive deep into what is really real, what is really hurtful, what do that person really mean. So it's like that piece, and that's why Beautifully Made focus on relationship building. Because just in case something pop out, right? Because life be life.
Life, lives, live life, it be life. And like she said, you know, but relationships.
Yes.
When life is life and you got genuine relationships with people, you're able to navigate. And so that space that Beautifully Made You is a space where you building relationships.
Yes, building relationships. We breaking the stigmas regarding mental health.
Come on.
Because we want people to understand, it's good mental health, but it's also bad mental health. We have mental health illnesses in our community. And, you know, we have those names that we use in our community. Oh, that person's crazy. That person is loco. You know, these type of things. We need to stop that and really get to the bottom of the source. Why is our cousin acting this way?
Come on.
You know, and it's okay
and why
to have
do we
this
continue?
conversation.
Right. It's okay to have the conversation. So again, let me say that again. It's okay to have the conversation. As a people, we don't conversate no more. At least about nothing that matters.
Right. Exactly.
Like, have the conversation and you'd be surprised how you helping somebody just by having the conversation. Because a lot of the times people be prideful and so they don't want to speak up or what it is about what they're going through or what they may need help with.
Ooh, yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
That's for real, for real.
That's the truth.
I can remember even reaching out to my family, you know, like, hey, my daughter was diagnosed with this. Oh, that ain't true. You know, because it's that stigma. And there's also what it's going to look like on the family.
There it is.
Instead of, let's figure out how can we get this person that support, those resources. Yes. You know, Rochester is resource rich.
Yes.
But how do you get them?
Come on.
And that's the piece of the puzzle, because people of color like me in the hood don't know where to go for mental health.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you do?
And then imagine our hood. So in our neighborhood is heavily community, like, and it's all colored, majority 90% in the Crescent or wherever you want to call it in the inner city.
Yeah.
And the mental health is sky high. So here it is, a woman with education. We in some of the rooms. And here it is, mental health still is something where we trying to figure out how to navigate for our friends and family. And we have a whole community of it. So it is sad and it's sickening, and it is, as a people, like you said, we just got to start getting rid of those stigmas and building those relationships, like you said. Because again, when a person is going through something mentally, like you said, they're gonna have that. You know, they're gonna have that. The mental health gonna come down and it's gonna be there. But if you got that relationship, it'll always bring back. And I'm so glad you said that, Ronieka, because just from my personal experience with my daughter. So, you know, because I was raised this one way, I was raising my daughter that way. Them your kids, you had them, and you know you're gonna follow behind you, take them with you, and do this, that, and the third. Following that stigma and not knowing, you know, I was creating a space between my daughter, like, but a wedge. Because I wasn't being a mom, building that relationship. Because I was being that stern mom where, oh, get your kids, get your kids, get your kids. But what type of relationship is that you're building with your daughter and your grandkids?
That's right.
You
and
know,
breaking that generational curse.
Yes.
And so, because that's another thing that we are continuing to drag those generational curses with us. Let's stop that. Let's stop in our tracks. Let's have conversations. Let's really dive deep into what's really going on. And let your family know it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And like you said, the generational curses, I think that's one of our big problems in the Black and brown community. We hold on to a lot of those generational curses to try to say, you know, like, you know, because to keep it like, oh, where you come from. But a lot of that stuff, what we have to understand is that our ancestors harbored a lot of stuff from us because they didn't want it to hurt us. So they kept that stern way because that the times they were living in. So we have to move out of those times.
Yes.
We have to move out of those times. We have to be upfront. We have to have the conversation with our children, because in order to get in the room of Beautifully Made You and actually get real results, we have to be real with our children. We have to be real with ourselves. You see, like how your relationship you said and you built with your daughter, and now what is she doing? I see her, but you telling people what she's doing.
She's doing good. She is doing amazing. But it's also the conversations that we able to have, right? It's those life conversations that you don't want roadblocks in the middle of. No, I want her to come to me. Let's talk about this life.
Yes.
Let's talk about how can we navigate it.
Yes.
You know, I don't want you to work harder than I had to work.
Yes.
No, I'm providing a platform for you not to have to work so hard. So let's utilize.
Yes.
Let's utilize each other. Right?
Yes.
Let's grow with each other.
Come on.
And on top of that, when my grandkids come along, let them as well break those generational curses so we could continue to stop, you know, just holding things in.
That's
that trauma that we have, that we be holding in, is deep. And we need to let that go.
Stop. Like she said, stop holding on to the trauma, because it does nothing for us holding on to it. You have to let it go. I mean, yeah, trauma happens and it happens, and I'm not saying, okay, it happened and okay, get over it. What we're saying is it happened and move on.
Yes, but you know what? So that's why every time we have events, right? Because we focus on events. We focus on workshop trainings. Because no one person could get through this by themselves.
Come on.
But also,
no one person
can get through this by themselves. And on top of that, we have people in our community that focus on this and specialize in it. We got therapists. We got people of color that are therapists, social workers. We got doctors that really focus on this every day. So the point that we do is we bring them to the table. Let them give their expertise to the people that need it, but also provide it for free. Because I think back of when I'm trying to go to court. I'm trying to go to school meetings, miss days of work because I had to work 12-hour shifts at the hospital just so I could make sure my daughter is getting the things that she needs. And you want me to come and turn around and pay for me to go to an event to get a resource? So I refuse to do that. So every event that we have is free so that people don't have to decide if I should be paying my bills to get a resource or be able to go to this event.
Ronieka Burns, that's big. That is big. And that's one of the things that I've been like pointing out when we do these podcasts as a people, like, cause yeah, I know you gotta make money, but you can't look to your neighbor and think you're gonna make the money off your neighbor. Like, we making money together. You should want to make money with your neighbor. That way, then your neighbor can break bread with you, because you know your neighbor making money with you. Then, you know what I'm saying? So I like how you said that. You know, like, it's big on that. Like, and then it went back to the trauma. I didn't mean to go all the way back to that part, but trauma is real. Practical thinking, we can't stop our brain from thinking about the trauma and the things we go through. But we have to write it down, burn it up, whatever it is, to let it go, to move on, because it will hold you, it will hinder you. It will hinder you.
It holds you back.
It holds you back. It holds you back. And a lot of times when you have obstacles and stuff to things, that would it be your own self. You be your own you be your worst enemy. It be you, you know, holding on to those things. So I've been like this year trying to hold on to the word discernment and humility. Because, you know, like when you, those two words is like, it helps you to humble yourself, and then to understand that, you know, people aren't going to move the way you move. And then it helps you give grace.
Yes.
That's another thing too, grace. We have to start giving each other more grace. We have to, because Jesus died, like, and he didn't know none of us. Now talk about the grace he gave us.
So why is it so hard for us to give our kids grace?
Come on.
Why is it so hard for us to say, you know what, you're right, I did do that mistake.
You're
right, I didn't, right.
Come on, that's
let's really talk about why is it so hard if God gave us grace? Why is it so hard for us to trickle that down? You know, like letting our kids speak. I know back in the days, you couldn't say nothing. You know, like, okay, you just listen to the grown people. All right, you say a word, you're going to get popped. You know, so I thought about that. I was like, all those things really cause trauma. And it calls for me not to be able to speak how I feel. Wow. I want you to be able to speak how you feel as long as you're respectful.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, so, but we want to give grace.
That's again, because like you said, because all those things, so it's so crazy because here it is, we got these strong upbringings, but a lot of them cause trauma.
A lot of them.
Right. And in order to get rid of that trauma, we have to give each other grace. Because that's the only thing that's going to change everything. It's like once you get that grace, it's nothing but love, you know? Yep. And you can move on from there, you know? And so with that trauma being an obstacle to like growing in relationships, and grace being our how to fix it when it comes to the business, like and systems, like we talked about earlier. Do you find it like, what are some of the obstacles that comes with, you know, keeping your business afloat because you do it for free?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, so it's very hard for me to ask for money. I find that is, you know, from the beginning, I'm like, oh, I gotta beg people for money to do this event.
That's the way of the world, people. I'm in Albany begging for the money. You got to beg, and we gonna get beg, and we gonna beg.
Yes.
So we can bring it to the people for free.
Right, but you know what I've noticed? You have to let people understand your vision in order for them to really give genuine. But they got to, you know, actually buy into what you're doing, right? People just not gonna just give it to you at a drop of a dime. Just like, oh, okay, you want to do this, go ahead. No, that's especially not somebody like me from where I'm from, right? You know, it's more of let me see what you do first, and then I'll be able to invest in you. So I had to do a lot of my own money for the first. I want to start for the first 5 years.
For the first 5 years.
Yeah, all of my own money, and then I was able to create a merchandise line, and so that was able to generate funds. But then I also went through a grant writing class. And so I was able to actually take part in grants from New York State. So New York State actually looks out for You Are Beautifully Made. They make sure that we are getting the resources that we need when it comes to mental health.
Well, go ahead, New York State, because it's needed, and You Are Beautifully Made is known. She's works in the community. She's boots on the ground, but not just for that. Like, I just seen. I'll keep that to the end. Well, let me just let the cat back. Are you doing like cards?
Yes.
I thought that's our new merchandise. Yes. I'm like, I didn't want to get to them. I'm like, cats out the back. So listen, you ain't got to get no Hallmark cards. You ain't got to go to the Dollar Tree and get their cards. Beautifully Made You has started their own gift card line, like special occasion line.
Yeah, so they're greeting cards.
Oh my gosh, greeting cards.
Yes, because I wanted to focus on a line that mothers could give their daughters could give their mothers, any women in your community. When you go to the Hallmark or you go to the greeting cards line, do it seem like you get cards that's for you or from you?
Or and so I wanted to speak from our heart or our values because of the things. Because it's just so sad to say, Hallmark, y'all had a whole different life from the life we live. So you know those cards don't really express what we really truly be feeling. Yeah, so that was a passion to create cards that actually give a meaning that really truly means of, you know, how we really truly feel. Oh yeah, so that's something new she got going on, right? Yes, I just had to pull that out here because I was like, all of the things she have going on. But the biggest thing, like, and the reason why we really reached out to her again, like it was like the portrait and the mentoring that is being done, and the reason behind it, like in the free. And for her to dive in, because, you know, like she said, for the first few years, she was spending her own money. And, you know, now New York State is funding it, but, you know, who's paying her? You know, like grants. So she's spending her own time and coming from the heart to do stuff for her community, and we need more people. Like, we need more people from our communities. Yeah, like, you're going to put in the blood, sweat, and tears, but at the end of the day, when it's for your community, you can walk out your door and say you did that within your community. It feels good.
It do. It really
feels good. Our aunties and uncles, our ancestors did it for us, and now it's our turn. We the aunties and uncles.
Yeah, that's why it's always a bonus. People be asking, why I do it. Not only because of my own personal reason, but because it's changing lives.
It's changing lives.
And it's actually being beneficial. I have people that call me and tell me the events they come to really is building their relationship with their families. It's really breaking those stigmas. And then they also call and ask me who could I send them to for a provider, right? If they looking for a mental health specialist, who could they go to as a therapist? So it's actually opening the doors to actually saying, I need help. Where can I go? And thank you. So it's like a package thing. And every time I think about the stories, I be getting emotional, like, because that's what it was. When I was sitting on the floor that time and I ain't had nobody to talk to.
Come on.
That's what it goes back. That's what it goes back to, of what would actually motivate me to actually do that. Because your pain and your hurt will get you in your passion so that you can move and change things.
Turn it into power.
Yeah.
Yes, because Blue Leafy Made You is definitely big. Like I said, I watched it over the years, and I've seen people come in and get their portraits done. But I didn't know you had that mental health piece to it.
Oh, yeah.
I was just, I always I would send people and I always try to look out for it because you do it seasonal, right? So you don't do them every month.
No, every couple of months.
Okay, holidays. Because I did see some around Easter. I've seen you do around Valentine's one time. Yeah. So it's not like a certain date. It's okay, just every couple of months.
Every couple of months. I try to be strategic about it. I wanted to make sure it's in the communities so people don't have to worry about transportation. And then also building with other organizations, right? Because again, it's not about me. I'm not an expert in mental health and relationship building, but what I can do is bring the people to you that are. Yeah. And so when we just did an event over at Equal Grounds Community Cafe on South Avenue, kudos to Monique Chapman for, allowing us to use that space for free. That's what we talk about is building together. Right? Mm-hmm. And we purchased the coffee and things from her. And we talked about love.
Come on.
And let me tell you, that was the most deep conversation that we've had out of the years. Talking about
coming in
love.
These rooms and actually doing the work. Come on, because love is that's all we need is love.
It got so deep. It was a lot of crying.
I can only imagine. I missed
that. But it was worth it.
Yes, I can only imagine. So to the young girls watching and the young ladies and preteens watching, what are some things, some gems that you can give them when it comes to just navigating through life right now, and whatever struggles that they may have when it's mentally, financially,
Yeah. So one thing people gotta know, life be lifing, and it don't stop, right? Even though you're young with it, life be lifing, and it don't
stop. It goes on. It don't stop. It don't stop.
It's a continuation. What we gotta do is know how to navigate life.
Come on.
We gotta know how to do it smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Right? And then no matter what you go through in life, you are still beautifully made. And so that's
no matter what you go through, you are beautifully made. So don't let nothing tear you down. That's basically what she's saying.
Nope, not at all.
You gonna get knocked down 10 times.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get up.
Yeah, I tell people find a spiritual avenue as well. Whatever that spiritual rim is, find that stuff. Because without my God,
come on.
Listen, a lot of these trials and tribulations, it be hard. Mm-hmm. So you got to be able to have that set foundation. Yeah. So therefore you can have somebody to actually talk to or a spiritual person.
Back to what she started out, like she said, with relationships.
Yes.
That's back to relationship. Yeah. You have to have those concrete relationships. Because like you said, life be life and it doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. So you have to have these concrete relationships. Just so like she says, so you can navigate through the things. It ain't going to be easy because no one said life is easy, But to lessen the load and to make things seem lighter and a less heavier, navigate through them, building relationships, and that's how build through relationships. And without the relationships, you can't navigate. I mean, you can navigate through these things without relationships, but it'll nothing be turmoil. It'll be turmoil, right. Because it's okay, right. You don't have a firm relationship with this person, so they don't even really understand where you really coming from. And that's a good thing about relationships too. When you know a person and you know if they're genuine, you know, like, okay, they really going through something, you know, it gives you time to humble yourself and give sometimes that grace that a person be needing. You know, because a lot of the times, like, and you know, those are my 2 words for the year: discernment and humility. Because it's like a lot of the times, you know, when we in this work, we look to see one another as like, you know, like you could be doing the work too. But a lot of people don't be where we at in life, you know? So, you know, even though they may be in the rooms, they still may not be where they need to be at in life when it comes to relationships with the people in the rooms. They may not be at where they need to be with the relationships with the people at home. And, you know, that's a big thing. I'm coming to see that when...
No, I don't want to cut you off. It don't matter your status either. You know, when things pop out of the sky, it don't matter your status. It could happen to anybody, to the richest of the rich, and the poorest of the poorest.
of the poorest.
So you gotta know how to navigate it and know how to get through it. So I don't have people call me that was rich, that have the resources, but still is having a hard time with mental illnesses.
Yeah, because like again, like you said, those relationships. If you're not building them to be able to navigate, because like, and I believe that's a real tool, relations, honestly, because you don't have to be like, and people get relationships like, oh, that's my brother or sister or my boyfriend or something like that. Relationships is like, this is a relationship. This is a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And these are relationships like, and I'm so glad, like, I'm so happy to have you here to interview, so I can build more from this relationship and gain more on this relationship, so that we know, you know, like, even though, like I said, this is a relationship and because of the work we do in the community already, but we're building a stronger relationship, becoming partners together and doing the work. And I think that's just a really, really great deed. Now with the for young boys, same thing.
Yes, and more mentorship relationships with their fathers, right? Because you talk about breaking generational curses. You know, we got to reach the whole family, the 360. So that's what we do annually, is we have a 360 conference, because we want to take the approach of the whole person. Right? We can't just dissect only one part of it, the school part. We can't just dissect only the family part. No, you can't. You got to talk about everything that's involved in that person. Where they live, what resources are they able to get? Do they even got gas in their car? Let's really talk about the things that people are going through.
Yes.
You know?
And that's big. All of the antecedents, because that's the thing, like, you know, like you said, before you even get to school, you named everything, and all that's trauma. You know, and it's real. So, you know, TikTok is out. And so my grandbaby, we got a shared account. And she did this one TikTok where it was like, step forward if you got to worry about food. Step forward if your parents together. She's 7. She said, so I said, well, you ain't got to worry about food. But, you know, like, this stuff, it trickles down. You know, like, it does. Like, you know, and I was like, baby, you don't got to worry about those things, you know. So that's why now I'm teaching my daughter, you know, like, okay, just building that relationship and with her daughter to understand is, okay, mommy, where you kid, you learn, you know. But right now, you know, but until she teaches her that, she won't know that. You have to install that into her and that. And so I thought that was a big thing. When I heard her saying that, and I was like, wow, at 7.
Yeah, kids pick it up. But also kids pick up trauma. Kids pick up.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was. I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was diving to. Like, she done picked up the trauma. Because here it is, like, you 7. Oh, you gotta worry about bills. You know, like,
you don't gotta
why you gotta worry about money? Since you don't. Like, you're 7. So, you know, like, that's the fact to it. That the kids now, just by seeing or hearing whatever her mother and father go through, exposures to it, modeling it because she was seeing it. She's 7 and thinks she gotta worry about the bill.
Look at that.
Ain't never paid a bill though.
Right.
The trauma, because you know it's the trauma that trickled down to her, not the bills. She knows she ain't never paid a bill.
Right.
But the trauma, like
the trauma of her having to worry about even worrying about the bill.
That part.
You know, because that's a big thing with especially people of color, right? Black people, we worry a lot that we have number 1 heart disease. Because we so stressed out.
Ain't that something?
Because of all the trauma.
Bring it back, because of all the trauma.
I'm stressed out.
I'm
picking up my grandma stressed, my mama stressed, everybody stressed. Okay, now my heart's so weak by the time it make it to me. Lord forbid by the time I make it to my granddaughter.
I'm trying to tell you.
So, you know, it's just really, how do we break that trauma so that it's not going down to our generations, right? How do we reduce that stress? We utilize the resources that we have in our communities. We talk about mental health. We making sure people, these organizations that get these millions of dollars, making sure that the money trickles down to the people that it needs to, and the education on it, not just the money.
That's where we're dropping the ball at. That's where I honestly say, as a whole, I ain't gonna say, point no names out, but that's where we're dropping the ball at. We have to start making these organizations accountable for collecting government dollars, saying for me, mental health this, mental health that, and it's only a few and twos that I can point out and actually say, I know the work she did with the people, like the work she did in the community. Oh, you can go over there. You ain't got a family portrait, you can go over there. Or you try to find a doctor, I can send you over there. You know what I'm saying? It's not too many places.
No.
So we need to start keeping them accountable.
But why is that? It's because a lot of us are not in the rooms that's making those decisions. Yes. So organizations need to be intentional of who they are bringing to the table. You're making decisions about families. You're making decisions about women and girls and everything. But are you asking them how they really truly feel? Are you asking them what do they really need? I have people that used to reach out to me and say, your daughter don't need this, she need this. I said, did you ask her?
That part.
It's a simple question. Did you ask her? And people be like, well, I guess I could. Teachers, good at that. Wait a minute, hold on here. It's a lot more that's going on. And my kid is not just a number. So we got to figure out what that actually need is. And that's one of the biggest things that I came across was navigating the school system. Having a voice in the school system. When I was going to advocate for my daughter, it was as if it was unknown. I'm asking for meetings, and they was like, "You want to meet? You want to meet with us?" Every time they ask me,
it's not normal. We gotta step it up, people. It's not normal. I got the same thing right now. Advocating for Carmelo, they was telling me, they were putting me out of school because they're not used to it. They ain't used to no black and brown parent coming and being that compassionate about their student.
But why is that?
We gotta do better, people.
Okay, but why is that? Why is it that our voices can't be heard in schools?
Especially when it comes to enough of us is not going to schools. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna tell the truth and shame the devil. I could go to a concert and see 50 million of y'all. I hear it is in the voting. When I go to vote, I hardly see anybody. I always ask at the back, how many people been here? They be like 60. Oh, it's 60. And I go at 5 o'clock. We got to start being more accountable. It's because we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough like our ancestors did. I say that every day. We're able to be in this news because somebody made a way. But guess what? We go to Albany and rally all the time. And the more and more we go to Albany, the less representation that we're starting to get there. It's already that there's only one black man on the wall anyways. The government that's been up here. Already. Only one. But here it is now, and so back to what she was saying, be intentional about the people that you're putting in place. Now, when she's saying that, be intentional, people be so quick to say, oh, this person, when a person gets in politics and they're going to do whatever party agenda is, and they're going to try to sneak in whatever the little bit of their agenda is or whatever. But we need people in there that's really pushing the black agenda. What's being done for the black families in the government system, because you see they got something in play for the alphabet community, they got something in play for Hispanics, they got for the foreigners, and not just Hispanics, because we got people from Venezuela, we got people from Haitian, we got people from all of the Haiti, we got people from all these different places that's coming over here in our refugee sanctuary city and getting this help. But what about the people right here? And then again, in representation, what about the people? We gotta keep people that look like us just to try to push some of our agenda, because, and 9 times out of 10, just because they look like us don't always mean that they got our best interests at heart.
Right, but we also can't be ashamed to ask for help either, right? We can't be ashamed to receive help. Because I have came across tons of families that refuse to get the help because they feel ashamed, right? We got to break that I'm shamed, I don't want nobody to know what happens in this house stays in this house. We got to break all those chains in order for us to actually get beneficial help that we need, right? Yes, I do agree that it's not enough out here, enough resources and support, right? But they are some. And if we put those guards down and we actually receive what we could tell people that we need it, right? Tell the schools what we need. Don't just take yes as, okay, this they send you a paper home. Question that paper. Question that report card. Ask why is your kid not succeeding like they should in school. You know what I mean? And use that as accountability.
Yes. You have to. But I like how you said that, because if you're not involved, then how can you help? Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to be involved with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you help? Like, you have to be involved. Like, at first I was thinking, a lot of this work I was doing and just in the community work, like, it's because it's something in my family. I come from a family of freedom fighters, so
mm-hmm.
I was thinking, then, I'm like, the older you get, it's because it's must be done.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be done. And who's doing it? So we have to do it. And it's like, okay, I got 3 babies, but it's like, okay, when my grandbaby's growing up, I don't want them to grow up like with other kids who have this hardship. So that's why we're trying to do it as a community. Mm-hmm. But it's just so hard in the Black and brown communities. It's like, and like you said, we're resource rich. The resources and the funds is out there. I can't put my hand on it to say exactly, okay. But you pointed out a big thing, relationships.
In relationships, and also it's not enough of us advocating at the tables where the resources are. And you don't have to be really smart to do that. And this is where a lot of people, you don't have to have a PhD.
Come on in. None of that. All you gotta do is have a voice.
That's it.
And ready to fight.
Back in the days,
you can meet us. We're ready.
They didn't have
education. Come on, say it again.
But they still advocated for it. They wasn't allowed to get education. A lot of them wasn't.
Listen.
So we really want to talk about that. Like a lot of people are like, well, I can't go to that setting because of the way I look. Who cares how you look? I just want you to show up.
That's it.
Show up and show out if you need to.
That's it.
Because if it's your kids, you need to show up and show out. Yeah.
You got to show up and show out. And so I think, I'm loving that. Because again, like you just pointed out so many things. We stress, we come with a bad heart already from the stresses of our parents. And then the generational. And then we gonna stress the things of the world. Mm-hmm. And like, no, I ain't stressing my heart. I ain't gonna stress my heart. Give yourself grace too. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. I say that to say, give yourself grace. Like, don't beat up yourselves. Let's give ourselves some grace. You know what I'm saying? Like, work and give yourself, even if you have to like go in the room, shut the door, say a prayer, or whatever it is that you do to give yourself peace. Give yourself peace and give yourself grace. Don't be hard on yourself. And again, like she said, speak up. Don't be prideful. Like, it's a lot of help out here nowadays. It's help. But we can't help you if we don't know.
Well, self-care, I'm glad you brought that up. Self-care is really, really big. It's something that we overlook. Yeah. It's something that we feel like we don't need. We don't deserve.
Come on.
We should do it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where that stigma comes from, because that right there is hindering us itself, right? Mm-hmm. If we really focus on self-care,
come on,
worry about us first, then we can worry about everything else. We can worry about the job, we can worry about the kids, because we got enough stability in order for us to think clearly. Because we all know when you're stressed out, you're not thinking clearly. Okay. You make rational decisions.
Come on.
You're not really putting the effort that you need to in certain situations. So things fall through the cracks. Yes. So if we really focus on self-care, and self-care is what self-care is for you. And that's another thing. People think that certain things, self-care means certain things. No, it can mean anything. If your self-care is you just want to take your wig off, you want to sit down on the couch and watch a Lifetime movie, that's your self-care.
That's right.
Nobody can dictate what your self-care is, but do it. Whatever that is, do it. Self-center yourself in order for you to help others.
You heard that? Self-care. Self-care. And Beautifully Made, you can be a part of that package. Because that's like self-care too. When you head on in and get that. I ain't going to tell you about my trinkets and get something, but it's self-care. Like you can go on in and get, like whatever you got to get off your chest, and actually build some relationships for your friends, your family, and yourself. Because she offered this photography. So that's another thing too I wanted to point on that. Mm-hmm. They offer this free photo, but then that's another community. That's another relationship you building with the photography man.
Yes.
Because see, our photography man is our friend now too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be on his set. Like, these is relations that you build. Yeah. So here it is. You bring in someone from out of the community, and you're gonna actually introduce them to someone in a professional world. Mm-hmm. They're getting professional pictures. I just love the fact that when you first started Beautifully, I was like, oh, Beautifully Made You. Like, I looked into it and I was like, oh, that's dope. And then when I seen like what was the purpose of it, but you never got into telling us the reason, like, really how it started from the church. Mm-hmm. So before we leave, I just want her to tap on that a little bit, because you didn't tell us like what made you really start yours.
Yeah, so it's it's a church that's on North Clinton Avenue that do Christmas photos in the community for free. They do it every year. It's called Heart and Soul Church, and it's in the middle of the shenanigans. When I say the middle of shenanigans, I'm talking about Clinton Avenue and Avenue D. Like, it's a lot going on. But this church is a gem. And I'll never forget, I saw the flyer and I said, oh, what is this? And I went over there from the time you walked in the building, you were treated as if you were somebody. It didn't matter what you looked like. Oh, you came? Your hair not done? We got somebody to do your hair.
Oh, look at
you
that.
came? You needed your little makeup? We got that for you too. And then when you took the photos and they were smiling and they were just embracing you, because the main reason why they do it is because people were passing away without having photos. People didn't have a chance, because life be lifing. They didn't have a chance to actually do family photos. So they do it for free in the middle of the hood, to make sure that people are getting these family photos. And they're not little photos.
No,
these photos are
huge.
They are amazing.
I was like, oh, that is dope. And so Ronieka, you took it upon yourself to say, I want to see this in more neighborhoods.
Well, for one, I wanted to learn how they do it, right? Because I wanted to, I'm like, okay, you do this, and why you do it, Right. So I actually partnership with them, and I actually got to know how they do it behind the scenes. They got people from all over volunteering their time. And so when I reached out to do the family photos, the mother and daughter photos, I said, who's a photographer? For one, I wanted a woman. If I have a woman that's a photographer and a woman of color, and most of my people is of color, they're going to look at the things a little differently, right? Different angles. Yes. And so not only that, I wanted somebody that could go to people's homes, because a lot of people don't have transportation or don't feel comfortable when they come out. So we had people that if they wanted to do photos at home, we had the photographer go and do those photos. And if you wanted it at another spot, we did them at Village Gate one time. It was amazing. Oh, that is so big. So I didn't even know that. Look, she just gave us some more. So they actually took them out. You're making this thing big. Yeah. So if you guys get a chance, look into Beautifully Made You, because she's offering so much more. But her conversation alone will blow your mind, because she's been around, she's experienced, and she's a sorcerer. Can you tell us what sorority that you're a part of? I am a part of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Psi Omega Zeta chapter in Rochester, New York, and I love my sorority, so it's pretty cool. We might have to have her on again, because I've been trying to get a part of a sorority, so we're gonna have to have her on again. So that would be good. That would be good. Now I am a college graduate. Okay. Look, yes. Got that tea, and I'm always in the sorority. That's what it is. They're organizations that go around and do stuff in the community. Yes, and that's a lifelong thing, right? Yes, a lifelong community outlook thing to really give back. Yes, to give back. So we do that scholarships and all kind of things. I just can't wait to give back. And we need everybody of our age. Yeah, come on, jump on the other side. We aunties now, just jump on this side. That don't mean you can't go out with the 112, with the Cardi B. You can still live your life. Yes, you can. Yeah, our grandparents still live their life. But we have to jump on this other side to make sure that we ensuring a better life for our grandchildren and their friends and their cousins that's coming up. Because if we don't, who's going to? Yeah. If we don't, who's going to? But we can. And what I found out is having hope and inspiration, we could do anything that we want to do. Everything, Ronieka. So all it is hope and inspiration. Yes. So if you have that person, that child, that neighbor that just need that, it's okay to give that little, and it's free. Okay. It's free. It's free. That's why I don't understand why it's so hard to get. It's free. Hope is free. Inspiration is free. It's free. Hugs are free. All that's free. It's all free. Yeah. Just give it up. You never know how it may change someone day. We would like to thank you for tuning in with us. If you'd like to reach out to Ronieka, you can catch her at Beautifully Made You. YouAreBeautifullyMade.org. Got you. And she will, you can reach out to her. Like I said, if you're looking for anything when it comes to mental health, probably, black and brown therapist or something like that, she can refer you to. She's been from her own life experiences. Again, one more thing before we leave. Even I had seen you post the other day about Tim Hortons. Oh, yes. And so, and I like that, because, each one teach one. We have to share to know. Yeah. And I'm like, dang. I really just started looking into you, within the last 3 years. So my kids are all older, but I'm like, I could have used that camp. Yes. It's all about being in the community, too. Having somebody that says, oh, this would be a great program for you or your children. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Again, us being neighbors and being neighborly, but it's tons of opportunity out here. Yes. Tim Hortons Scholarship Camp is amazing. My daughter talk about that to this day, and she'll be 29 next month. Look at that. There's resources out here. There's resources. There's resources. And that's why I had to come back to that one, because she'll be 29 and she's doing amazing. Now here it is, we started out with talking about her daughter, and she was sharing the experience of her having mental health issues. Yeah. But with building
in relationships and doing the right thing, having to navigate through a system that's not easy to navigate through. But sometimes, like, the work is not going to be easy. And sometimes the fight is definitely not going to be easy. But don't give up.
Don't give up. And no matter what you go through in life, you are still beautifully made.
Yes. Thanks. We see you guys next week. That's dope.